Rasul says, march in the name of Allah. March in the name of, carry on in the name of Allah. So this is now the consensus decision. We're marching in the name of Allah. Okay. Why this history is important is Rasulullah, the first time we decided to make, according to revelation, to visit the house of Allah, make tawaf of the house, do the sa'i, sacrifice the animal, shave the head, sacrifice the animal, all of that, all of those rituals that we now, constitute as Hajj. The first time that was going to happen was a life-risking venture. And all of them were subject to being executed just for making that intention. And the munafiqun were extremely happy over that decision. And the Quraysh were sharpening their knives over that decision. وَسَلَكَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ طَرِيقًا وَعُرَّةً عِبْرَ ثَنِيَّةِ الْمِرَارِ وَهِيَ مَهْبِطُ الْحُدَيْبِيَّةِ. This is important. The Prophet ﷺ now knew they're coming this way. He's in Asfan. And he said, we have to take an alternative route because they're going to intercept us. Their military will intercept us. War will be inevitable. By the way, who's leading the charge on their side? They saw them from a distance, their scout. It was Khalid ibn Walid, who already caused us major damage when? In Uhud. Who's the only one who got through the trench? He got through the trench that the Quraysh couldn't get through? The only one with a small few that got through the trench to attack the Muslims was Khalid ibn Walid. So he's their most successful general, right? He actually, it's either him or one of his scouts, they saw the Muslims in Asfan. And they saw that they put all their shields, and not their shields, their swords and everything down, and they're making Dhuhr Salah. And he had this brilliant idea. He was like, yo, when they're praying is the best time to kill them all. How often do they do this? And somebody told him, I think their next Salah is Asr. They got another prayer called Asr. So this was Dhuhr, right? He's like, man, I missed the Dhuhr opportunity. I'll kill them all at Asr. So he's getting ready, and Allah reveals to the Prophet ﷺ a prayer called Salatul Khawf, the prayer of fear. In between Dhuhr and Asr was Salatul Khawf revelation. What is the revelation? Some of them will pray with the Prophet while others will stand guard, and they'll finish their prayer, and the other will join with the Prophet ﷺ. That was revealed in this time. He comes back for Asr, he's like, yo, that doesn't look like the same prayer. What happened? They're ready. So he's like, I gotta re-strategize. We gotta rethink our strategy here. So he goes back to Mecca to re-strategize. By the time he comes back, the Prophet has left Asfan. He's headed towards a place called Hudaybiyah. But to get to Hudaybiyah, you have to go through burnt, jagged rock. I don't know if you guys have been to, many desert, or burnt rock areas. Like Mecca, when you're driving, if you've ever gone to Umrah or something and you're driving between Mecca and Medina, you'll see the rocks in a distance. And they're mostly they're umless, they're very smooth rock from a distance. But, you might have places like that in New Mexico. I think I've seen some here. And some places in California. You'll have rocks that are very sharp. Like you can't put your foot on it. It'll cut right through, right? And it's coming on both sides, and it's not meant for, you can't go through their, 1,400 people and their animals. But they knew that's the only way they can make it, at least to Hudaybiyah. Hudaybiyah is right on the border of the neutral zone. Neutral zone means you're in Mecca, you can't be attacked, right? So to get to Hudaybiyah, which is not normally where you want to go, but to avoid the main road to Mecca, they took this road. And in that road, they bled. In that road, they got injured. And in that road, Rasul ﷺ even told them, "Man yas'udu thaniya al-mirar fa'innahu yahuttu ma hatta an bani Israel." This is whoever crosses this valley and goes through the hill of Mirar, whoever's going through this, 1,400 people and their animals going through this journey, they are going to go through what Bani Israel go through when Allah told them, "Udkhulul baba sujadan," enter the door, right? So this is your test, like the Israelites were tested when they were to enter the door. And He also promised every one of the people who went through the journey Jannah, except one person. And they were like, one person? And He said, the one with the red camel. He said, one person with the red camel. And they're like, who's this guy with the red camel? And turns out, all the way at the back of the caravan was a guy who said, have you seen my red camel? And they said, I think we heard about you. I'm pretty sure you should ask the Prophet ﷺ to pray for you. And he said, I'm not interested in your friend's prayer. I'm more interested in my camel. And that showed you that he wasn't really there for genuine reasons. He was the only munafiq there. And the Prophet ﷺ was given a revelation about him. right? Which also indicates that everybody else who was on that journey were the truest of believers, which will also be confirmed by Surah Al-Fath, the surah that was revealed at the end of this entire adventure. So now they're going, and they're traveling. Khalid ibn Walid comes back with reinforcements. At Asfan, nobody's there. They left. They've gone the unusual route towards what location? Hudaybiyah. So now he's going to rush back to see if he can cut them off before they get there, but they're already there. They already reached Hudaybiyah. Hudaybiyah was a well, a little bit of a hump, like a hill, right? And the well was dried up. So when they get there, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his camel stops. Actually, I want to read that to you. وسار النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى إذا كان بالثنية التي يهبط بها عليهم منها بركت به راحلته. His camel just wouldn't move past Hudaybiyah. Their plan wasn't Hudaybiyah. Their plan was Makkah. It goes through Hudaybiyah, but their plan wasn't to stop at Hudaybiyah. But his camel stopped moving. فقال الناس حل حل فألحت. So the people started telling the camel حل حل, because in Arabic you speak to animals and you have words for speaking to animals. So some people speak to animals in different ways. The Arabs actually had a full-on vocabulary. Aaqi, aaqi is how you speak to a crow. Now, if you say that loud enough, you'll know why. Aaqi, aaqi, right? That's right. Hayya halla, to get a camel to get up. Hal hal, get up, get up. They have different words. They make, and people have different. I've seen actually videos on this, how to speak to animals, because the Quran makes reference to this. يَنْعِقُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً in the Quran. So I want you to know something about it. Different animals respond to different sounds. And you have this like shepherd who'll be like, or something, and then all the sheep show up. And somebody else tries it, and then they're like, nah, not you, bro. Try again. So they said, and the camel won't move. Now, sometimes a good animal, a good domesticated animal, like a horse or a camel, that usually obeys the master, becomes stubborn. And when it becomes stubborn, it's like, transmission failure. Like, it's no good, man. They don't listen no more. So it's not responding the way I wanted to. I'm pressing the accelerator. It's not moving. So there's something wrong. Time for some barbecue. You know what I'm saying? So فَقَالُوا خَلَأَتْ الْقَصْوَى. So the people said this Qaswa. Qaswa was the name of the Prophet's camel, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was actually very attached to this camel. He had a very friendly relationship with Qaswa. So they said Qaswa has gone bad. Qaswa has lost its mind. خَلَأَتِ الْقَصْوَى خَلَأَتِ الْقَصْوَى فَقَالَ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم مَا خَلَأَتْ الْقَصْوَى. The Prophet said, no. Qaswa, there's nothing wrong with Qaswa. وَمَا ذَاكَ لَهَا بِخُلُقٍ. And it doesn't act this way at all. That's not her character. So the Prophet ﷺ knows the character even of an animal. Right? That's how intimately he knows the animal. وَلَكِنْ حَبَسَهَا حَابِسُ الْفِيلِ. It's a really beautiful hadith in Bukhari. He says, but the one who stopped the elephant has stopped her. Now, which elephant? The elephant in the time of the army of Abraha. Abraha wanted that elephant to charge and crash into the haram, and the elephant refused to move. And Allah is saying the same one who stopped that elephant from moving is the one who's stopping Qaswa from moving. What is Allah telling the Prophet ﷺ? If you go to Makkah now, there will be war. And just like Allah prevented violence from happening at the haram with the elephant, Allah is preventing violence from happening with Qaswa stopping now. We will not proceed further. We will camp here. That was the instruction. It's so remarkable that Allah protected the sanctity of the Kaaba with that elephant the same way He protected the sanctity of the Kaaba with Qaswa by stopping her at that moment. Okay, so now, كنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 1400. We were 1400 with the Prophet ﷺ. وَالْحُدَيْبِيَّةُ بِئْرٌ. And the Hudaybiyah was basically, there was only one well at Hudaybiyah. فَنَزَحْنَاهَا فَلَمْ نَتْرُكْ فِيهَا قَطْرًا. So we drank from it a little, and pretty quickly there was not even a drop left. There was not even a drop left to drink. فَبَلَغَ ذَلِكَ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this news reached the Prophet ﷺ. فَجَلَسَ عَلَى شَفِيرِهِ. So the Prophet ﷺ sat at the mouth of the well. دَعَا بِإِنَاءٍ مِّن مَاءٍ فَتَوَضَّأَ. So he asked for like a small pot of water, and he made wudu with the pot of water. ثُمَّ مَضْمَضَ وَدَعَا ثُمَّ صَبَّهُ فِيهَا. Then the Prophet ﷺ gargled some of that water and poured it into the well. فَتَرَكْنَاهَا غَيْرَ بَعِيدٍ. So we left the well, and not much later, ثم إنها أصدرتنا ما شئنا نحن وركابنا. And then it started overflowing. The wells started overflowing, and all of us drank, and all of our animals drank. 1,400 people drank the water, and camels, horses that came with 1,400 people drank the water, and the water wouldn't stop running. And this was one of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. And this was also kind of a way of, reinforcing the iman of the believers who came at this time, who otherwise the munafiqun were thinking are going on a suicide mission, right? But now they're getting the feeling Allah is on their side. And now they're seeing these small miracles happen also. Like the one in the guy with the red camel is a small miracle that happened. And then making them to Hudaybiyah and the water coming out is another small miracle that's happened. So one after the other, these miracles start happening. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي نفسي بيده لا يسألوني خطة يعظمون فيها حرمات الله إلا أعطيتهم إياه. The Prophet ﷺ said something very strange in this moment.